parenting during the pandemic, we know that this has been a challenge, with many parents reporting significant stress increases through this time. This can, of course, lead to tense and negative parenting choices. So parenting coach Linn Knight is here to help you make a plan so that you don't yell at your kids, yell at them less, and enjoy more moments of peace. Laura, thank you for joining us today. First of all, what is positive parenting, and how can you help all of the parents who have been so stressed for the last year and a half?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And first of all, let's just acknowledge all the stress that us parents are going through right now, because parenting is hard anyway. And then this last year has just, should we say last year and a half, almost 2 years?
Right.
It's all a blur now. It's been really hard. And so when I use the term positive parenting, I mean, that can mean many different things, but what I'm really talking about is this type of parenting where we're being kind with our children, but we're also having those boundaries. And so that can also be referred to as authoritative parenting. And what it looks like for the parents that I work with and in my home is really validating our child's feelings, reconnecting with them when they're in those moments where they're unregulated and their feelings are super big, and then directing the behavior kind of as the third step. I think a lot of times parents feel like it needs to happen immediately. You know, like I have to get this behavior fixed now, but there can be a little bit more of a pause in that. And that brings a lot more calmness to the home.
I imagine if you don't have calmness, yelling can be a big thing that's happening in the family. How do you prevent yourself from going straight to yelling?
Yeah, that is such a great question, and one that I'm constantly working on parents with. So when we're yelling, we are not, just here's a little science about it, because sometimes I think it really helps me to understand the science. When we're yelling, or our kids are yelling, we're in the lower part of our brain. So this upper part of our brain is the prefrontal cortex. That's like our decision making, our more logical thinking, and it's worth saying that that doesn't fully develop in children until they're 25 years old.
Wow.
So I know. So we have a long time of kind of acting like their prefrontal cortex. So when we're in that place of anger, we're in the lower part of our brain. That's where our amygdala lives. A lot of people have heard that before because that's our fight, flight, freeze response. And so when I'm in the lower part of my brain and my child's in the lower part of their brain, we're all of a sudden in a power struggle and I want to yell. And I feel like I can do this work and help parents with yelling because I'm the parent that does want to yell. You know, I get really frustrated, but I remember, okay, I'm in this lower part of my brain. I have a pause poster. You can download it for free on my website as a little freebie at lauralinnnight.com. And what I do with my children and for myself is I sit down and I come up with a plan. What am I going to do before I yell? I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to smell a flower. I'm going to take big belly breaths. I'm going to put on my favorite song, right? It's whatever works for you to help you really calm down and self-regulate, because then I can go back to what we were just talking about. Then I can actually connect with my child's emotions. I can help them, feel comforted and soothed, and then I can address their behavior.
So hard. But for more positive parenting tips, you can always go to lauralinnnight.com. Miri, you're experienced at this. Do you take the deep breath and try to calm down?
I have to sometimes. I have to be very aware because especially after a long day of work, and the thing we have to remember is that they're little people, they're just kids. They don't have the emotional intelligence of an adult, but no one tests your patience more than your kid, trust me.
You always love them, but sometimes isn't that the thing that maybe you don't like them in the moment?
I love them so much, but I'm like, oh, I also would love you if you were quiet for just a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be asking you for advice soon.